I don't mind sharing once again with you the story of my friend Trilok, an engineer from Burma, who was very keen to find a perfect master. And he met many yogis, swamis, many masters in Burma where he was working. And then he heard in India, in Madras, there's a swami who can, with his power and with his mantra, he can give you instant, immediate knowledge of the true home. He was a very cautious person with money. I'm using the word cautious, don't want to say very miserly, because at that time the currency in Burma was a rupee, the same currency in India, and he would take out a 1 rupee bill, say to spend or not to spend, not to spend, back in the pocket. With this habit of his, he was able to accumulate and save 30,000 rupees in a short life of an engineer with a small salary. It was a big amount at that time. So he decided to go to that Swami in Madras who could give instant knowledge. And he sold everything, wound up, got his 30,000 rupees and came to Madras, city called now Chennai. And in Madras, he met the Swami and he said, Swamiji, I've heard that you can give some mantra you're teaching, can give us true knowledge. He said, yes, I can. But have you heard the story of King Janak? He said, I have heard. Have you all heard the story of King Janak? If anybody not heard the story of King Janak, okay, I'll tell it again. So, just an excuse to tell the story again. I didn't even count the hands. Okay, the story of King Janak is that there was a king in India named Janak who was also a great seeker. And he wanted to find the truth, true knowledge. And he told his ministers and advisors, where can I find true knowledge? And they said, King Janak, you are born in a great country. There's so many swamis, yogis, masters. This country is full of them. Just have a big feast. What they called a yag. Have a big yag or a big feast. And they will all come. And you can then ask them questions. They will give you true knowledge. So the king held a big feast. And hundreds of yogis, swamis, some in saffron-colored robes, some in white robes, some in blue robes, some in no robes. They all came. And he had many tents assembled in his compound, and they all settled down. The king disguised himself incognito, became a tourist, that he should just move amongst them, they should not know he's a king. And as he moved amongst them, he tried to listen to what they were talking to each other, and he was surprised at their arrogance and pride, each one saying, I know more than the other. The same text, the same scripture in their hands, and they're arguing, this doesn't mean that, this doesn't mean that. He said, these people may be learned. They have all the learning, they've memorized books. They have no true knowledge. That's not what I wanted. Very disappointed, he came back to the palace and he told his ministers and advisors, I was very disappointed. These people are learned people. They have read books. They remembered the books by heart. They have no true knowledge. I want true knowledge. And the advisors and ministers said, King Janak, this is a big country. You only called a few people. Have a beat of drum and have a 7-day feast. Then many more will come and give you true knowledge. So the king organized a 7-day feast, and a larger crowd came, and he, incognito moved among them. It was just a 7-day repeat of the same experience. All learned people repeating the shlokas, repeating the scriptures by heart, and not knowing what they mean, having no real true knowledge. He was very disappointed. So he told the ministers and advisors, this is not what I expected. This is not true knowledge. I want true knowledge, real knowledge, not learning, not books. They said, King Janak, for that you have to go to a perfect living master. And he won't come to these functions of yours. He said, where is he? He said, there's one living on the bank of the river in a little hut. And his name is Ashta Bakar. Ashta Bakar. Ashta means 8. Ashta Bakar. Bakar means curves. He was a hunchback with curves on his back. And his body is deformed. His eyes are sharp, and his intellect and his spiritual knowledge is great, vast. You should go and call him. So King Janak went to Ashtabakar in his little hut, and Ashtabakar got up. Majesty, what have you come here for? What can I do? He said, I have not come as a king, I have come as a beggar. I want true knowledge. Will you come to my palace and share true knowledge with me? Ashtabakar said, you've taken all the trouble to come to me. I will certainly come to your palace. So a date was fixed, and the king in his auditorium in the palace invited all the nobles, all the neighboring kings, neighboring princes and princesses, and the whole hall was full of nobility and royalty. Ashtabakar came with about 7 or 8 of his disciples, and as they entered the auditorium, they took off their shoes, which was the custom, and they walked up barefoot to the stage where the king had placed 2 chairs, one for himself and one for the master. He invited the master to sit on the chair. As Ashtabakar was walking toward the stage, he heard people murmuring something. And they looked at the hunchback. They were saying, what a kind of man is invited. Look at his body. He's going to give us knowledge. If he can't even take care of his body, what knowledge can he have? And they were making comments like that, which Ashtabakar heard on the way to the stage. When he sat on the chair, he said, King Janak, what is the price of leather today? King Janak said, Master, I don't understand the question. We brought you here to tell us true knowledge. What has leather to do with it? He said, are these not all leather merchants sitting here? He says, no, they are nobility, royalty sitting here. He said, the way they looked at my skin and my body, I thought they may be dealing in skin. So people saw there's a sense of humor in the man. Then they began to listen to him. Then Ashtabakar said, what kind of knowledge do you want? King Janak said, instant knowledge. By the way, that makes me feel King Janak was an American in his past life. Instant coffee, instant knowledge. Ashtabakar said, there's a price to pay for instant knowledge. He said, anything you want, all my coffers, all my wealth is open. Just ask your price, it will be given to you. He said, I want 3 things. King Janak said, you can have 10, 20, whatever you want. I only want 3 things. Give me your body. Give me your wealth. Give me your mind. I'll give you instant knowledge. It was a strange price tag. But King Janak was such a seeker. He agreed. He said, yes, master, my body is yours. All my wealth is yours. My mind is also yours. Give me knowledge. Ashtabakar said, are you sure you've given these to me? Yes, master, I'm sure I've given them. Okay, if the body is mine, I can place it wherever I like. Pick up this body and place it on the shoes I left at the entrance to your auditorium. King Janak got up. This is not my body. I've given it to him. I have to place it wherever he says. And he walked toward the shoes. All these people again began to murmur, what kind of knowledge are you listening to? Telling the king to sit on the shoes is real knowledge coming up? What kind of man has he invited? Now, as these murmurs were going on, king heard them. He said, they don't know. They think I'm a king with so much wealth and so on, and I'm sitting on the shoes. As this thought came to him, Ashtabakar shouted from the stage, King, you have no business to think of that wealth. You've given it to me. He said, oh my God, I forgot. This wealth is no longer mine. Now I can't even think of that wealth as mine. As this thought was going on, Ashtabakar shouted, you can't even think about the wealth because you've given your mind to me. He said, can't even think. He caught his head like this. Can't even think. And he got instant awareness inside. Ashtabakar said, need not go and sit on the shoes, come back. So he came back to the stage. He said, did you get instant knowledge? Yes, master, I did. Any doubt? No doubt. This was clear. Any questions? No question. He said, now this was just a sampling of what exists inside. Now do meditation. I'll tell you how to do meditation regularly. And according to your destiny, in 20 years, you'll get this knowledge once again. It's a slow process. But this was just a sample. That is how King Janak got his true knowledge. So the Swami now tells, I'm going back to the story of the Swami and the Lokchan. Swami says, I follow the teachings of King Janak and Ashtabakar. You want true knowledge? Give me three things. Give me your body, give me your wealth, and give me your mind. I'll give you true knowledge. And Trilok said, yes, master, it's yours. Okay, let's start with wealth first. How much do you have? I have 30,000 rupees. Transfer them to my account tomorrow. I have to start building a temple. This man who was thinking 1 rupee to transfer or not, to spend or not, transferred 30,000 rupees to the Swami's account. Then he said, now you have to do, you've given your wealth to me, now you have to give your body. To give your body, you have to make a sacrifice. The sacrifice is that the meditation technique I will teach you involves your body. It requires breathing exercise. And you have to breathe one breath from the left nostril, one breath from the right nostril. And you cannot use your fingers because fingers are outside. They'll draw your attention outside. The process is inside. Therefore, it has to be done with your tongue, which is inside. The tongue has to be reversed back. So from the tongue inside, you have to make the choice left or right, left or right. And since the tongue cannot move back because of the tendons here, I have to cut those tendons off. He said, my master made me cut my tendons off, took out his tongue like a snake, long snake, like tongue. He said, this is the way the tongue will go back. And he said, since it's a sacrifice, I won't make it but an easy way of cutting the tendons. I'll do it by scraping them slowly over a month. The Lokchand went under the torture for a month and got the tongue released. And he take his tongue out like the Swami could do. And he learned how to put the tongue backwards and breathe to the pranayam, the breathing exercises, alternately from one nostril to another. And he had some experiences of seeing. Then he said, give me the mind, and he taught him some mantras, and he got some experiences. Lights coming up, white light, red light, blue light. And he could see some things, some faces, past life faces, something, but not what he wanted. He said, Swamiji, I have not got what I wanted. I want true knowledge, not these little experiences. He said, my child, this is all I can give you. This is all I learned from my master. If you want more than that, you have to wait for another master. Then Lokchand waited. Eventually, he found this master, great master Baba Sawan Singh, who initiated him. And he made rapid progress. His seeking was very strong. And he was so full of love and devotion. He could see great master in everybody he met. It was a wonderful experience. As a friend of mine, I learned so much from him, from this Trilok. One day we were all sitting next to great master in the evening, smaller group. And Trilok was there, I was there, my dad was there. I remember 5 or 6 people were there with great master. And Trilok says, Master, had I known you are the perfect true master for me, I would not have given that 30,000 rupees to the Swami. The great master smiled and he said, Trilok, you don't know. When you came to me, I transferred those 30,000 to my account. And then he explained to us waiting here. No time with any master is lost when you are seeking the truth. You can meet any number of masters on your way. They all help you move forward up to a point. And when that point is such you're not satisfied, you can't go further with that master. Another master will come into your life. Eventually, if nothing has helped you, a perfect living master will come into your life. And that is why when a perfect living master finds you, he does not say, you went to a wrong master, you went to a lesser master. He'll say, you went to the right masters. All of them were right for you. Because that's how your spiritual journey was designed, that you had to go through those processes and then come to the perfect living master. So that is why it's not unusual for a perfect living master to appear after many masters. And the earlier masters may be perfect also, and you may not be perfect yourself in readiness. So that can happen.